Now, when I took the video that follows this clip, you'll see that I originally thought that maybe some of those hanging rocks were the ones that Swift was referring to in the journal, because there's a number of hanging rocks there and others that have fallen from the other. But that's when it occurred to me that from the location that I specified for the furnace in the other clips, those hanging rocks were south or south-southeast from the furnace. So then when I followed the course about just over 1,800 feet from the furnace, going on a directly southeast course for 1,800 feet, that's when I came across a rock that is the hanging rock, which matches similar hanging rocks in other national parks and things that are across the world. When you look up a hanging rock, you'll find specific type of rock, which isn't necessarily always something hanging off of a cliff. So that's when I determined that this is probably what he was referring to by a hanging rock. And there's a couple rocks there that look like they might have fallen from it, and some of the rocks were used for other things in that area later on. So it's possible, very likely, that the hanging rock at the end of this video is the one that Swift was referring to, because it is just over 1,800 feet on a southeast direct course from the furnace. How to find the middle mine. Go up over the furnace and take a southeast course until you come to a hanging rock, high up, and a gap between it and a very large mountain. On the east side of the hanging rock, within 100 yards, you will find a line of rocks. Search carefully this line of rocks for the opening into the mine. We also covered this mine with locust posts, rocks, and dirt. Now, this hanging rock looks to match best to the description of a hanging rock that I found in accordance with other hanging rocks in other places. Now, the only issue with this rock is that there's a gap between it and a large hill. The journal says between it and a large mountain. So if you replace the word mountain with hill, everything else lines up exactly like it should. Now, this rock has a line of rocks just a little east of it, as the journal describes, which is very likely the line of rocks that he's referring to. This is little relevance in the scheme of my story and the outcome that I wish to see here. So this is the hanging rock. There's a line of rocks beyond it, and everything else seems to be going as it should for this landmark. It's important to note that all of the rocks or other elements or landmarks that I've identified so far in my other videos, they all fall within the confines of this map overlay. This is Swift's original map, as according to Michael Paul Henson, laid over a LiDAR map which matches the terrain, which is similar to Joe Nichols' map. And if you put it all together, all the things are very close to or right in line with where they're supposed to be according to what the journal says. So it's not like I'm wandering all over the countryside looking for things to fit. They're all relatively close or right exactly where they're supposed to be, in line with the journal.